Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to another non-live broadcast of Real Turk channel featuring just Atilla Yeşilada, just poor old Atilla Yeşilada, giving you the worst tidings from Turkey. Oh no, today we're gonna make a change. Today we're gonna give you the good tidings. The good tidings is our president Recep Tayyip Erdogan is going to the moon in year 2023. Godspeed, I say. And one of the religious authorities said that while we're in the space, we should read the Vespers, the Muslim prayers that invite to the call. So we also have the honor of being the first astronauts or cosmonauts that recited the Ezan, the prayer in the space. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh too hard. Usually, going to the moon, and in addition to that, our president said that we're going to launch our own commercial satellites, and in fact, we're going to be selling them. Are great ideas. A society needs vision. That's what John F. Kennedy did. He started the space program, reinvigorating the nation and raising their morale. And that, in a normal time, Mr. Erdogan's call Mr. Erdogan setting a target of putting a Turk on the moon by 2023 would be visionary. It would exemplify how a leader leads his society by setting very high and lofty goals. Unfortunately, today's video is about disease, suffering, and insolvencies in Turkey. I will explain why, when very large numbers of citizens are unemployed, sick, and about to shutter their doors forever, talking about going to the moon is a cruel joke, and it will not be forgiven. Once again, most of the visual stuff I use here is in Turkish. That stems from the fact that I have really no resources. With an average of 1,000 people viewing each video, it's difficult to have a studio production, but I'll try to do better next time. I use these to show that I am speaking science, not politics, that everything I said is backed by what I consider to be solid evidence. So if you don't speak Turkish, ignore tables and charts. But if you want to test the truthfulness, the verificacy of my statements, you could have these translated. First of all, let's start with Turkey's third wave. This one is in English. It's easy to understand. This is from worldometer.info. It shows the 7-day moving average of Turkey's daily COVID-19 cases. As you see, we have a bottom at around 5,000 about 2 weeks ago. That's when the second wave had washed upon our shores and was exhausting its rage. And then suddenly, as you see at the right end of this chart, cases started rising at a fairly rapidly clip, reaching roughly 9,000, 8,800 something as of yesterday. And this is the third wave. Now, just in case you think, this is just a statistical anomaly that things will be under control, well, this is in Turkish, but you can Google or whichever search engine you are using and write COVID-19 Turkey third wave, and you would find a page similar to these. There you see the pictures of 3 distinguished healthcare professionals, all professors, warning Turkey and the government that the third wave is either at our threshold or has started. So I think I have enough evidence to say that Turkey's third wave has started. And unfortunately, this is going to be much worse than the previous two waves, in the sense that all sorts of mutant strains of the virus are in Turkey. I think as of yesterday, cases caused by mutant viruses have been diagnosed in 53 provinces, and last time I counted, we had 82 provinces. These are sort of like your states or districts, administrative regions. So in more than half of Turkey, there is one kind or several kinds of mutant strands, and we know that vaccines are less effective against some of the mutant strains, and they are much more contagious. So, just my humble projection, today is February 11th. As of 10th of February, Turkey reported 8.8 thousand cases. I think that could easily rise to 15,000 cases by the end of February. And you know what that means? I mean, that means that the current weekend lockdowns, the closures of all bars, cafes, restaurants will continue through March, maybe even April. To compound our difficulties, we don't have enough vaccines. This is, for those of you who care, a segment from an article written by Mr. Deniz Zeyrek in Turkish opposition daily Sözcü. What it says is, so far, we have confirmed that we have not taken delivery, but within 2 weeks, we will probably take delivery about 28 million doses of the Chinese vaccine. Sinovac, it's called. 28 million doses would vaccinate 14 million people. To reach herd immunity, one needs to vaccinate at least 60%, to be on the safe side, 70% of the population. Turkey's current population is about 80 million, give and take a couple of million. So 70% of that is 56 million people, and we need at least 110 million doses of vaccine, which is not in the horizon. And given the fact that some of these vaccines are proving ineffective against some strains, EU is talking about export barriers. There are all sorts of political difficulties and vaccine wars. Vaccinating enough people in Turkey may last until the end of 2021, which means these current curfews, lockdowns, social restrictions, etc., will last indefinitely, destroying the economy. I don't need to prove that any kind of social restriction or restriction on social and economic mobility causes a decline in economic activity. I think if you are from this planet, you have experienced it in your own countries, and it doesn't require any kind of proof. The problem is, according to the latest data, which dates back to November, that's just when the weekend curfew started, Turkey's official unemployment rate was 12.9%. This table is in Turkish. It is for my convenience. So as of November, official unemployment rate 12.9%. Non-farm unemployment rate, which is the most common measure used in your country, is 14.8%. Youth unemployment is 25.4%. Now, again, I'm familiar with the United States and EU statistical methods. There is also a broad measure of unemployment, which my staff has calculated. The broad measure of unemployment in Turkey, which includes those who have been discouraged to seek work or who have voluntarily left the workforce because there are no jobs in their industry, amount to 24.6. Amount to 24.6% of the population. In other words, dear YouTube watcher, as of November 1 of every 4 people who are eligible to work had no wage income. There is some kind of welfare and other financial assistance, but at most that's 70% of the regular average wage, and in some cases, about half of the statutory minimum wage. And in Turkey, family sizes are larger, roughly four, 3.5 actually. So every person unemployed also has to take care of 2.5 more people, and 1,000 liras is roughly $130. You tell me whether these people are happy. They are not. And this is going to get worse. Remember, this is November data. By December and January, disclosures continued. And probably in February, March, and April, they will continue as well. In fact, if you listen to experts, if the outbreak gets worse, that is, if my prediction comes true and cases accelerate once again to 15,000 per day by the end of the month, Turkey will need a national shutdown, a national lockdown for at least 2 weeks, preferably 4 weeks, to flatten the virus curve. There are several economic problems here, which is why Mr. Erdogan's new goal of going to the moon is such a cruel joke. First, only 1/3 of those unemployed are eligible for any kind of financial aid. The rest are left to their own means. Two, bars, restaurants, cafes employ roughly 2 million people. Some of them still make a living from takeaway or delivery, but according to the industry spokesperson, at least 700,000 people are about to become permanently unemployed if shop closures continue beyond February. Three, Turkish tourism industry at the height of the season employs roughly 2 million people. If the outbreak continues in April, May, Turkey will miss the early reservation season, and any chance of rescuing the tourism season will be pretty much dead. There would be latecomers, late reservations, but that's not profitable business, and another 500,000 people may become unemployed by the end of the summer. This is really devastating news. I really don't care what the official data tells me. There is a very simple equation in economics. Employment equals, as far as society goes, more wages equals more disposable income equals more domestic consumption, which translates into production and capital expenditures. When you have so many people leaving the workforce or having been kicked out of the workforce, you get much lower domestic consumption. And there is also a herd behavior effect here, in the sense that I live in an apartment or in a gated community, 1/4 of my neighbors are unemployed. Do you think I am very likely to splurge? No. I will probably raise, voluntarily or involuntarily, my savings rate, which is going to hit the economy like a second hammer. This is why, let's go to the moon, but before we go to the moon, let's feed the poor. It will take at least a couple $100 million, if not $1 billion, to build a Turkish spaceship, Turkish space station, control room, etc. from scratch, which is money that can be used to alleviate the pain of the Turkish citizens. Why Mr. Erdogan doesn't understand that and is involved in these fantasies is beyond my pay grade. But I know one thing. I'm going to show you a table from the reliable and impartial Metropole Polling Agency. This is from January National Survey. It's again in Turkish, but the top horizontal bar which says 47.3%, is the ratio of people who want to get the hell out of this country, either to work or to study, but they want to get out. Tell me, maybe in Myanmar, Syria, which is suffering from a decade-long civil war, in Venezuela, people may wish to leave their country at this rate, but nowhere else, nowhere else. And the funny thing is, 34% of AKP voters, which is Mr. Erdogan's party, want to leave too. MHP is AKP's smaller partner. 43% of its voters want to leave Turkey. This is misery. And Mr. Erdogan maybe should go to the moon, because if he stays here, people are going to get very angry. This has been another broadcast of Real Turkey channel. If you subscribe, of course, that would be a great favor to us. But even a bigger favor would be to share this video with anyone who does business in Turkey, or for some reason has any academic or professional interest in Turkey, so we can increase our traffic volume and afford better charts. This is Attila Yeşilada saying goodbye from Istanbul Moon Base.